Okay, so we have f of x is equal to 2x squared plus 8x minus 10. And we want to graph this. We want to find the axis of symmetry, and we want to find the vertex. Okay, so the first step is to get the axis of symmetry. The second step, by finding the derivative, right? Second step, and solving the derivative equals to 0, right? And then the second step is taking that solution for the axis of symmetry and plugging it in to the original function, and then finding the y. And then once you have the x and the y, now you have the vertex. Okay? And then you're going to plug in 0. That's the third step, is we're going to plug in 0. And when we plug in 0 here, it always takes this to 0, takes this to 0. So the only thing left is c, because ax squared plus bx plus c. And we have that up here, ax squared plus bx plus c. Right? So we already have that in our notes. There's no reason to write it twice. Right? So that's in our cheat sheets, and we're ready to go. So the first step is the derivative. So f prime of x is going to equal 2 times the 2. Okay? So you always take the power, the exponent, times the coefficient, right? And it gives you 4x. And then I take 1 away from that power. Then I take this 1 that's here and I multiply it by 8. Okay? Then I take 1 away from that. And then I take the x to the 0, remember? And the 0 times 10 is 0, so it just goes away.
But, a question.
Yes?
How did that, on the previous problem before, how did that 8 become positive when it's 2 times negative 4? How did that 8 become
Oh
positive?
crap, is it?
It's negative.
Yep. We gotta talk about that. Shoot.
Ooh, I've seen something the math teacher didn't see. You got
negative
that on record.
And negative. And then what would happen here is we would pull out the negative 2. It's a choice. You could pull out a negative 2, and you could end up, or you could pull out a 2. If you pulled out a negative 2, you would end up with negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 21 all over negative 8. So we got to talk about that one again. Okay, and that's what x would equal. So definitely want to talk about that one again, just in case. Okay? So we'll go back to that one. Okay. Continuing with this one, we want to set this equal to 0. Okay? Because that's the slope of the derivative at the axis of symmetry. Once we solve here, minus 8, so we got 4x equals minus 8. Then what? Divide by 4, divide by 4, so we got x is equal to negative 2. This is our axis of sim. Okay? Now, that's step 1. Okay? That is step 1. What we want to do now is step 2. So it's step 2. I'm going to take that axis of sim and plug it in. F of that equals 2 times x squared plus 8x minus 10. But the x is a parentheses. Sorry about that. Okay, and then I plug in this negative 2. Okay? And so when I plug in that negative 2, I get negative 2 squared, which is 4, times 2, which is 8. Negative 2 times 8 is negative 16, minus 10. So now I have negative 8 minus 10, so I get negative 18, and that's what f of negative 2 equals. So what I'm left with is negative 2 and negative 18. That is my vertex. Okay? That's what my vertex is. So now I have my vertex. I have step 2. Now I want to do step 3. Step 3 is pretty versatile. It's the same thing every time. F of 0 is equal to negative 10. Okay? If I plug in a 0 here and a 0 here, they go away and I get negative 10. It's just good. At this state in the game, I wouldn't waste your time in putting that in your print, taking up too much space in your cheat sheet. Okay? So that is 3, and now we go to 4. And 4 is the check method, okay? Okay, it's a check method. I'm trying to check and make sure that my math is right. Okay? So I want to plug in f of 2 times the axis. And in this case, the axis is negative 2. Okay? So what am I doing? I'm plugging in f of 2 times negative 2, which is f of negative 4. Okay? And so what that equals is 2 times x squared minus 8x minus 10. Alright? And I'm plugging in negative 4. Negative 4 squared is 16. Okay? 16 times 2 is 32. Negative 4 times 8, oh, this is a plus. Negative 4 times positive 8 is negative 32 minus 10. So I get basically f of negative 4 is equal to negative 10. Okay? So negative 4, negative 10 is my other point. That is number 4. Okay? So now I want to graph it. And in this case, I'm just going to graph it really small right here because I don't have much space on my cheat sheet. So I'll look at my points. 0 and 10, negative 4 and 10, and negative 2 and negative 18. So I could actually graph this right here like this. And so now I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Okay? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay? And then 0, right? And then 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 2, negative 4. Alright? And then I can plug this in. My blue one, negative 4, negative 10 is negative 4, negative 10. Bam. Okay? Then it's the green one is 0, negative 10. Okay? And then I think it's the red one is negative 2, negative 18. Alright? And then that's my graph. And it's done. Okay? Now, I want to take this into account. And let's just go ahead and, since it's 9 minutes, I'm going to talk about the top one really quick. So this top one, and then I'm going to actually I'm just going to set this video up and not that first one, since now we had it fixed. We had to fix that last one. I don't like to put on mistakes. So we're going to put on this thing, and it's already done. So what we did was it's got ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay? We had negative 4x squared minus 6x plus 3. And so our quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And when I write that, you want to make sure that you only write this purple first. You have negative parentheses. Okay? Plus or minus the square root of negative parentheses squared minus 4 parentheses all over 2 times the parentheses, so that you can plug these in correctly, which we did. And then when we did the math, we said this was 6, we said this was 36, we said this was 48, because a negative and negative make a positive, and this is negative 8. And the problem was, we didn't bring the negative 8 down to here, and I had an 8. And so, that's where we went wrong. We left out that negative. So don't, people make mistakes. It happens. Just be ready. Now, if you bring it down to here, right, because we came over here, broke down to 84, using our primes. So we broke down to 84, divided by 2, divided by 2, divided by 3, divided by 7. And now we pull out our pairs. So we got a pair of 2's right here, and what's not paired up is in our radical. And so we got 2 square roots of 21, so that's how we came up with 6 plus or minus 2 square roots of 21 all over negative 8. Now what you can do is 2 different things. One, take out just the 2. If you take out just the 2, 2 goes into 6 3 times, 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into negative, 2 goes into negative 8, negative 4 times, right? And then, you could also take out a negative 2. If you take out a negative 2, negative 2 goes into 6, negative 3 times. Negative 2 goes into 2, negative 1 times. All that does is flip these signs. So that's not a big issue. You could have minus over plus, but it's still the same thing. However, when you take a negative 2 out of the negative 8, you come up with a positive 4. So your answer could look like this, negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 21 over 4. Or it could look like this, where you have 3 plus or minus the square root of 21 over negative 4. So the real difference is whether you have the negative up top or you have the negative down below. That's really it. Okay? And that's half of it.